You did say that you've seen me in a bath before, so you know the answer to this question. Say the question again. Sorry, that was cheeky. I'm here today because this guy called Dickie has been stalking me on LinkedIn, and he told me to meet him at Bistro ChouChou for some undercover operation. So I'm worried, but I'm excited to find out more.
Hi, I'm Dickie. I'm the hype man for Australian tech and innovation. Today I'm in Bondi at Bistro ChouChou filming You've Got One Shop. This is a series which is going to help give a platform to the most amazing Australian founders and startups to give them the chance to be able to show what they're doing, pitch their idea to me, and hopefully we can help them get their business to the next stage. So Nikki, talk to me about Mentwell.
Sure. So Mentwell is a digital gift card, but it can be redeemed at any health or wellness service provider Australia-wide.
And what's the reason behind the business? What made you start Mentwell?
It's a huge story, but I guess if I take you to COVID, I went down probably one of the darkest holes that I've ever been down. I was very close to being addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I was in a really bad way. I also went through a breakup fairly recently during that time. And one of my best friends was also in a really hard place as well, both in terms of her mental health and in terms of financial hardship too. And I wanted to help her pay for a therapy appointment. That's all I wanted to do. And I went online and there was nowhere to do it.
Why? Why doesn't it already exist?
I mean, you tell me, did you? This is the question that I keep on asking. And so many people say exactly that line. Why doesn't it already exist? I don't know, but I'm more than happy to be the person that brings it to the world.
And why are you the right person? I mean, what's your background? You're obviously building a tech platform now. Have you always been in tech, or tell me the story about Nikki Williams?
I am a repeat founder. I've never really worked for someone else, actually, and I'm fairly sure I'm unemployable, if I'm being honest. But I started my first business as a coping mechanism. So in my early 20s, I was dealing with a medical phobia in a time where I really needed medical support. And I ended up more or less socially isolating myself for about 2 years. And in that time, I started my first business, as I said, which was a PR and digital marketing agency. And that's how I got through that 2 years. I kept myself occupied and I did what I loved doing. From there, I sold the agency. I also started a kids yoga mat business as well, which I sold too. And then I had the light bulb moment during COVID for Mentwell. And then I know that this is my life's work now.
Putting the investor hat on, I'm sensing obviously there's been a few different businesses that have started, some successes, some failures, I suspect, which is the entrepreneurial journey, right? Where's Mentwell sit in that lifespan?
Mentwell, I think, is already a success, both in terms of financially and in terms of the impact that it's making to relationships. And if I'm being honest, I think I have been relatively lucky in that those two businesses that I mentioned were quite successful. The other business that I didn't mention was essentially building out sanitizer products at the start of COVID. I was like, I'm going to be the first to market. That was definitely a failure. Definitely a failure.
You and everyone else.
Exactly right. And I was a little bit slow to the market, to be honest. But Mentwell is much bigger. You know, it's soulful work. I am literally creating connections between people that want to be closer. And if I can scale that, then that's what I feel like I'm here for.
And you talk about impact, right? But what is the true north in terms of what you want to achieve, and what's the big mission for Mentwell?
I want 1 million Mentwell cards out there within a year.
And right now, where are we at?
We are currently at around about 2,000. So we got a long way to go.
A long way to go, but hopefully this will help.
Yeah.
And you know, in terms of that traction, how have you got that business so far? How do your customers find Mentwell?
So far, it's all been networking, telling people about the idea, doing a lot of conferences, sitting on panels as well, content online, absolutely. Connecting with people through LinkedIn, talking to businesses and telling them that Mentwell is a way to make sure that people always, or their people always have money to pay for vital mental health and wellness services, really.
The corporate gifting space is enormous, right? And it's grown, but it's still kind of underserved really by, variety of different products.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely your kind of gift voucher market that exists, but there's not a really niche product market fit yet in that space.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the B2B space, an area you see you can really supercharge Mentwell in?
Definitely, but there's actually two different use cases that we've found with corporate so far. So one is gifting, absolutely, but the other one is that businesses want to make sure that employees always have money for health and wellness. So they're actually using these cards on a regular basis, either quarterly, some businesses even monthly,
Yeah.
to distribute funds specifically for that purpose. So as you can see, depending on the business and what their budget looks like and allocations in general, they're using it in different ways. And our B2B portal represents that too.
And tell us about some of the customer stories, right? How have you seen it had actual impact to real people's lives?
Yeah, I love this question, so thanks. My favorite story from Mentwell so far is that someone sent us an email saying that they received a card anonymously and that this was changing their life and that they were so glad that Mentwell was born and that it was available. And more so that they actually wanted to connect with the person who gifted it to them. And at first I was like, oh gosh, this is dangerous road, very dangerous road. But it was early on in the piece and I was able to speak to both parties. And then they did get to connect and we ended up getting this huge almost expose via email saying that now their relationship is better than ever. They're able to help each other through traumas as well. And in fact, that they've been able to connect on this really deeply empathetic level that they've both been through the same thing. And if I can scale that into the world, that's true human empathetic connection. And that's what we need more of.
I was about to ask, how do you take that story and translate that into how you sell and how you pitch Mentwell? That's the hard part, right?
That is the hard part. And I think it is essentially case studies like that and being able to tell people stories, especially from the B2B side. But more than that, I think it's alluding to the magic that's behind the business, and you can do that through so many different means. PR and digital marketing is my background.
I suspect that might help a little bit. I was about to say.
It does, exactly. Without that backing, I think it would be a lot more difficult. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, and what is the current challenge, like the biggest challenge you're currently facing in, I guess, taking the business to the next level?
Biggest challenge is the speed at which corporates move. Which is at a snail's pace. We have a lot of interest from corporates in general, but I think the next biggest step is just locking in these contracts. We've got a lot of LOIs now, which is great, but we want these businesses to actually go, let's start now.
So the strategy is really focused on trying to get some kind of big fish B2B clients to move the needle rather than focusing on the B2C. Or you're doing, I guess, both those things at the same time.
Doing both at the same time. Yeah.
How do you balance that?
How do you balance it? Know very specifically what the messaging is for both markets and then tailor the approach either way. So for B2B, it's a lot about networking. It's a lot about speaking to HR managers, wellness managers, ESG managers. For the B2C side, it's more about direct marketing, some paid social as well. And that way you can sort of get this circulation quite early on, but it is a B2B2C process here and business. So we understand that employees are also becoming consumers of the product for their networks as well. So that's the beauty about Mentwell.
And Nikki, where have you been so far with your investment journey? Have you taken investment already, or have you bootstrapped the business today?
You did say that you've seen me in a bath before, so you know the answer to this question. So we did a virtual campaign, as you know, and it was really successful. It was a great way to get to a new market and to spread the word about Mentwell in a huge way. So that was fantastic. So we raised $228,000 through them.
Amazing.
We are very close to then closing our pre-seed round in around about 3 weeks. That's what it's looking like anyway. And then we've already got some interest for seed as well. So things are really lining up from a capital perspective.
That's incredible. And so what's that capital going to be spent on?
Business development, sales and marketing. Really, those are the 3 key areas so we can get to more people. Awareness is the key with this business. As soon as people know about it, in saying that, making sure they're the right audience, they tend to get interested and want to know more and, give to someone. So we're lucky in that respect. It's been a sticky product.
Nikki, I always say the best businesses are often the most simple ones. I don't think there's anything really, astronomical about Mentwell. It's solving a obvious problem and it's an obvious solution. I love it. I love the story, the mission. We're in a world now where mental health is becoming more and more present, and we're really trying to make sure that we get on top of that with people. And I think the idea of getting businesses to empower their employees is an awesome idea.
Yeah.
I would love to support you. How can we do that? What's the one thing that right now, would take you from 2,000 closer to that million that you're looking to get to?
Oh, thanks, Dickie. I think that would be introductions to really big hitters when it comes to HR managers in some of the largest companies in Australia. Those are the people that we need to target. They're the ones that we need to be having conversations with. And if not HR managers, then as I mentioned earlier, wellness managers, ESG managers, sustainability managers, people experience managers, those key people who are making decisions about wellness funding and EAPs as well within these corporates.
And how do people at home connect with Mentwell?
Sure. So visit our website first. That's probably a good idea. So mentwell.com.au. And then we're very present on LinkedIn, on Instagram as well. And we have a bit of a YouTube channel too. So any of those platforms, get in touch. We want to hear from you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Cheers, Dickie.
True.